trying to live like there's no consequences. They tell us how to live right. We get all defensive. That's not the way that life works. Sorry to bust your bubble. Every day that we don't change just leads to more and more trouble, yeah. I'm not looking for a cop-out, looking for excuses. I've made those.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Wellness Report with Helen. I am your host, Helen, and I am so glad to be here today. I can't contain my excitement. It is 2018 and this is my second season, my first show of this season. I am excited to be here today. I'm brought to you, first of all, by Attorneys Are Us, which is another show that's coming on, so don't think that you're going to see double of me, but I'm hosting a show after my show today called Attorneys Are Us, where you'll learn things that you can do if in the event that you're in an auto accident. So that's something that we really need to know. So hope you'll stay tuned after my show and stay tuned for Attorneys Are Us. We are so happy to be here today. Something I really want to talk to you guys about that has been a big issue in the media, but it's more of a big issue in my life because, as you know, I'm a medical consultant. So the issue we're going to talk about today is the opiate epidemic. I know that President Trump talked a little bit about it at his State of the Union address, but I want to kind of talk to you about it and pull it apart and kind of answer some questions that you've had. I've gotten some emails concerning this opiate epidemic and concerning the Michigan automated prescription drug system. So I thought I combined all that. We could talk about it today. So no guest today. I know you're used to seeing me with someone, but today it's just me and you, and we're going to talk about an important issue today. So definitely stay tuned for that. You know, I've been on somewhat of a sabbatical, so be patient with me, guys. But the first thing that I want to talk about is what is an opiate, because people hear the word opiate, and I know that I'm in the medical industry, so I know what it is, but we shouldn't assume that everyone knows. An opiate is any drug that comes from opium. So it can be from the poppy seed plant. It could be morphine, codeine. It's a lot of different forms. It comes in forms of pills. It comes in illegal forms such as heroin. It comes in cough syrup. It's different forms. So what happens is a lot of times when people consume these drugs, whether it be, it's not even the point of being illegal or legal at this point. When they consume these drugs, they can develop an addiction for the drugs. And I've heard it too many times where I had a tooth pulled. I was prescribed opiates. I had some left over, so I left them in the cabinet, and my kid got a hold of them, and now they're addicted. So we've heard too many stories, so we know that we need to keep these things away from children. What do you do with an opiate if you have some left over? Well, I've contacted the DEA. It's different between state to state, so don't quote me on this, but for Michigan, they do have ways you can dispose of it. Now, some of your pharmacies you can check, they will take your drugs back because you don't want to throw them in the toilet because they're messing up our system, and we don't want that. So there are ways to properly dispose of opiates, and I would start with your pharmacy and ask them, you know, if you have something left over, what's the best thing that you can do, and or your hospital, wherever you obtain those drugs from. So that's something that you really need to worry, but to protect your home first. I know we're trying to protect the world, but we got children, we got family, and you need to know what to do with these things at home. So the first thing I would do, ask your doctor. He prescribes it to you. What should I do if I don't take all of these pills? Because just because it's prescribed to you does not mean you take pain medication. It's not like an antibiotic where you take it till it's finished. You take it until the pain subsides. So not all the time do you need to continue taking it. So you need to know how to get rid of that drug in the event that you're not taking it anymore. So that's very important. So I would check with my pharmacy and or your doctor and find out the best way to dispose of your prescription drugs, or hopefully you don't have any illegal drugs, but I still wouldn't dispose of that at home. Another thing I want to talk to you in reference directly to the opiate epidemic is the MAPS program. We know it in the medical field, but what it stands for is Michigan Automated Prescription System. And what this system was designed for was for class or schedule 2 to 5 drugs to be recorded. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a narcotic. It can be a psychotropic. It can be anything that has a morphine equivalent to it. And these drugs are listed by person, and you have to have some of their demographic information to look this up. So a doctor would use this tool to see your prescription drug history for those class of drugs for schedule 2 through 5. Which are mostly were the class that the opiate drugs are in. So basically, if you go you would obtain a prescription from your doctor. Say, for instance, it is Xanax. You would obtain this drug. You would go to your local pharmacy. Your pharmacy then puts in your name and your information, and it shows the state of Michigan that you have received this drug from this doctor on this particular day at this particular pharmacy. So basically, you're given a number, which is kind of like, I say refer to it as a credit report. But the only difference is the higher the number is, the worse it is for you. So, you know how you got like a 200, if you had a 200 credit score, which I don't even think that exists, but that would be considered low. So that's a good thing in this MAP system. So it's just the opposite. But what you need to, now, what does this mean to you? So when you get a prescription from your doctor, what you need to do to protect yourself, because what I don't want to happen is to people to be banned from going to the doctor. And this is where this opiate epidemic is leading us, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, I know. So when you get a prescription, you need to really think, where am I going to take this prescription? Hopefully it's to the pharmacy that you've been trusting for years, because we don't want to really do too many new things. Just like you don't want to change doctors too much, you really shouldn't change pharmacies. You should go to a well-known pharmacy that you know that they're doing the right thing and, you know, nothing shady is going on. So once you've developed where you're going to take this prescription to, then this follows you for a 2-year period. So this morphine equivalent number is kept on records at the Michigan Automated Prescription System. It's kept there for 2 years. So today is February 1st, so that means if you got a prescription today, it would be on that MAP system till February 1st, 2020. So you need to make sure that you make good choices when you pick what pharmacy you're going to go to, and what drug you're going to take. Me personally, unless I am in extreme pain, which is very rare, I do not get narcotics, because I have to think about not only my health, I have to think about the morphine equivalent. And because we're in an opiate epidemic, it doesn't mean that you're doing wrong, but everybody is kind of targeted because of the abuse that people have done on opiates. And it's been unfortunate because my clients who are doctors, I see both sides of it. So I'm kind of a liaison. I'm in the middle with the patient and with the doctor. So I see how it's affected the doctor, because now you have a lot of people that really, really think mentally that they need these opiates because they may have or may not have developed an addiction or on their way to develop an addiction. So it puts the doctor, when you've been in a relationship with a patient for years, it puts you in an awkward position. Like, I don't want to lose the patient, but at the same time, I got to, report to the state of Michigan, and I have a responsibility to the DEA and all the higher authorities to do what is right. And so it kind of puts you in a bad situation. So I can see how this epidemic is affecting everyone. And to be honest, based on this statistic, since 2010, the overdosage from opiates has tripled. Probably even more than that. This is probably an old statistic that I'm looking at, but it's more than tripled. And it's just been really just unfortunate. I've seen people personally that I know that have been affected by the opiate epidemic, and I've seen people that really, really rely on medication because they have a diagnosis that requires them to take opiates, and this has affected them as well. I mean, you say the drug oxycodone to a doctor now, and they'll probably run. It's so fearful to even say that. But in actuality, that class of drug may be needed for someone that deals with moderate to severe pain. And it's unfortunate that that person might not be able to get it because, of the misconduct of others. So it's just unfortunate. So I'd like you guys to keep that in mind for sure. But I want you to watch any opiates that you receive from your doctor. Make sure that they're put up properly, that they're in a place where not anyone can get close to it or know what it is. I even, if I had to keep an opiate at my house, I would I'm just extra organized. I'd even keep track of how many pills I had to make sure that, no one is taking it or anything. You just want to be careful with that and make sure that it is discarded properly. So that's very important. So it's just, it's just sad. It's like one day, one lady called, one of my clients, patient called and said, I broke my hip, and I ran out of pain medication. I kind of took more than, what was prescribed, and, because I was in pain. And, of course, the emergency room is designed to, treat your acute illness and give you just enough to get you till you go to your primary care. So I think they might have given her like 3 or 4 days of pain medication. And then when she called us, because of her insurance had already paid her the medication for that month, they refused. So then you got someone that really needs it and they can't get it because people are abusing it. So I've been asked this question, and I'm going to try to answer it the best way that I can. Is what do we do about it? What do we do about this opiate epidemic? To be honest with you, I don't think there's one answer that I can give you, but you can take those precautionary measures that I've given you. You can try to do the best thing you can. You can watch people's behavior in your family. If someone is, biggest story I hear is from dentist. I've been given something after I got a tooth pulled, and then I didn't need it anymore. I decided to go back to it, and now I've developed an addiction. So I would say, after any surgery, after any dental work or things like that, to be very, very careful. And if you need to, ask a family member or ask a spouse to administer that medication to you. If you had a problem with addiction in the past, I definitely recommend that. Do not administer medication. I wouldn't even recommend that if you have a past addiction to even pick up your pain medication. I would even give someone, because you have to have a driver's license to pick up anything higher than a Schedule 2. So I would have someone pick it up for me. If you know that you can't do it yourself, there's nothing wrong with demonstrating some humility and asking for help. So that's one of the things that we can do to help with this opiate epidemic, is to be accountable and make sure that that we're asking for help when we need to. Another thing is to watch your community, watch the people you're around. If you notice any changes, what I would say, and learn, being in the medical field for many years, is that when people are asked something objectively, and when you're assertive with them and not aggressive, and you just simply ask, are you struggling, or do you have a problem with an addiction? A lot of times body language will say everything, and sometimes people will feel like they need to tell you. So don't be afraid to ask because it's uncomfortable, because it's just as uncomfortable for that person that's going through the addiction than it is for you. Trust me. So sometimes they want someone to ask them so that they can get help. And so then, hopefully you would be that person that could offer help or find someone that would be able to help them. So that's very important. And other than that, you can always, develop a safety net, like I said, with your doctor. Let them know. Be honest with your doctor. if you have had a prior, because when you go see a patient, when a doctor goes to see a patient, we basically or a doctor really relies on what you tell them about your medical history. Yeah, we can send off for records, but those records were generated based on things that you told the previous doctors. So it's important that you're honest. You need to tell your doctor the truth. If you struggle, I tell my doctor I struggle with obesity. And my doctor, she can find a way to help me. She says, well, okay, well, your insurance pays for Weight Watchers. And I have a client that, got it for me as a Christmas gift. Thank you, Dr. Valentine. I appreciate that. But I'm saying there's things that you can do if you tell the truth, if your doctor can help you. So if you struggle from addiction in the past, you need to be honest with your doctor, be upfront, and then you'll have more resources available to you. Because believe it or not, since I, tell people my struggles or things that I struggle with, I've been given an abundance of help. I have people that email me, they know my struggle, they say, okay. And by the way, I have lost 45 pounds since I started the show last year, January 1st, 2017. 45 pounds as I started the Wellness Report with Helen. So it's not just been myself, it's been you guys, and that's why I do the show. Like I say over and over, I don't get paid for this. This is for information to help you to be better and to help you to help me, because it's been this show that I attribute my success to. I have not lost 45 pounds by myself, and yeah, I could have probably lost more than that. But the thing is, I did it, and you were with me all the way. You were watching the show and emailing me and giving me your support. So all of that, every time I get a looking good, or I see your success and your face is looking smaller or whatever, that's why I wear big hair, because it makes my face look smaller, by the way. But anyway, so those things really encourage me. So I want to encourage the audience. If you have any questions, or you have anything that you want to know, or any topics that you'd like me to talk about, you know how to reach me. But just in case, you can always reach me. My shows are uploaded on YouTube, of course, under the Wellness Report with Helen. You can reach me via email at thewellnessreportwithhelen@yahoo.com. I got a new email too, Outlook, and I did not bring it today, so forgive me. I was rushing a little. So, but next time I will definitely make sure that you have that as well. But it's been a great thing. I've really learned more about myself, my body, my mind, body, and spirit. Um, I have joined a new church, and which has really been good for my spiritual spoke. And I kind of talked about that before, your different spokes in life. You got your physical spoke, your spiritual spoke, your health and wellness spoke. And so I'm thinking, if I get all of these spokes together, then, I guess I'd be like Superwoman then. I'm not sure what I could call it, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's what I need you guys for. So help me help you. Continue to show your love and support. Like I said, I got my Attorney Are Us show coming on that I am hosting. With attorney Thomas Courts. He will be here with me to answer all of your questions. If you have questions, hopefully you haven't been involved in an auto accident, but if you have, this is the place to call. You can always call. I don't know if we're going to do call-ins today for that show, because it's, we're going to kind of explain to you who we are, the guest is, and then we'll go from there. But we're brought to you by that show and Quality Professional Consulting, who provides all of your medical consulting needs. I want to urge you to watch Helen's Heavenly Delight. And no, that's not me. I am the mini me. That's my mother, Helen's Heavenly Delight, who I know everybody loves. And she's the real star. I'm just like, her backup dancer, but that's okay. Hi, Mom. So, yeah, everything is great. So, I know that for the auto accident, I think that we're going to talk about personal injury. What about slip and fall? Are we going to? Okay, slip and fall. We'll do slip and fall. I don't know if workman's compensation, is that in there? Okay, we can do that. And I remember talking about this before with Dr. Abraham, who's a good friend and colleague of mine. Hey, Dr. Abraham, how's it going? So we'll talk about all of those things, and hopefully get you answers to all of those good questions you have, and hopefully we'll answer some of them on the show. But that's a very, very serious issue, especially in Michigan, when one day it's like 50 degrees outside and the next day it's like minus 20. So, and then we got like 5 feet of snow. So it's definitely something that we need to talk about because we can't use the weather as an excuse. You need to be careful out there. And if you're not, accidents happen, but in the event something does happen, at least you'll have some resources. Yeah, I think I lost you guys for a second, but that's okay. I'm back now. Okay, so yeah, the second season of the Wellness Report with Helen. I wanted to talk to you guys and have a one-on-one with you because it's been a while. Like I said, I've been on a sabbatical for probably about 5 months. And what have I been doing in 5 months? I know you're asking that. And don't send me no email because I'm gonna tell you right now. So what I've been doing for 5 months, I have went to a lot of places in Michigan. My quest was to, I'm like, I really don't like all this Four Seasons stuff. I'm always saying, well, I want to move one day. And so my husband, hi, John, he always tells me, honey, it's so beautiful in Michigan. So we need to experience Michigan. So with that, I went to so many places in Michigan. I went to Petoskey, the Tunnel of Trees. We went to Traverse City. We've gone to Mackinac Island a few times. And I mean, there's places that I can't even think of the name. And then I was like, wow, Michigan is all right. It's pretty cool. And I think a lot of people from different states don't really know that Michigan is like one of the world wonders. So, I mean, we got like the best lakes and you know I know you're thinking about the Flint water crisis, but that does not define us. Okay, we had one blemish, and I mean we still got good water, guys. I mean, it was just an incident. I don't know what happened there, but I know that Michigan kind of got hit hard with that, and they've kind of been saying that we don't really have the cleanest water. And I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but I can say that Michigan is beautiful. And every place that I went, I was just extremely surprised. I was like, wow, I can do small little trips, and that's another thing about wellness that helps me with my life is doing day trips. A lot of time, me and my husband, we don't have a lot of time because we both are self-employed and it's very demanding. But what we try to do is, with our small family, is do day trips. And sometimes we only have one day. So we might go to Lansing just to ride to Chick-fil-A through the drive-through. I know that's crazy, but I like Chick-fil-A every now and then. And I know it's one in Somerset. Not really a fan of Somerset going through all that. That's kind of tempting to go through the whole mall just to go to Chick-fil-A. So that's too much stuff for me to pass by that I might want to buy. And so my husband says I'd rather just go an hour away to Lansing instead of going all the way to, or going to right around the corner to Somerset. But it's a beautiful thing. So I encourage you, if you're like me and on this quest to fulfill all of your spokes and make sure you have total 360 in your life of happiness and wellness. I encourage you to try those things, like time management, which, I'm a stickler for time management. And also, please take time for you. It doesn't have to be expensive because I'm definitely a coupon person and a bargain person. So, I try to find things that are cheap for me and my family to do. I'm always on oaklandcountymoms.com looking for free things that they have for the kids or family fairs, or there's a lot of things that you can do with your family that don't require a lot of money. So just keep that in mind. Once again, I'm going to mention my sponsors because they're the reason that I am here is Attorneys R Us, who will be on the show. And it's actually attorney Thomas Quartz and his law firm. And the name of the show actually is Attorneys R Us. So, and then also Quality Professional Consultant, where they provide all medical consulting and diagnostic testing. if you have any need for those services. Also, a lot of people contact me because they need a doctor. Um, and depending on your need, there's different doctors that I have that I know personally, some that I just refer to that I have never met, but I hear about them. So I try to keep a good database for people when they want to know. Also contact me for that if you need to know that. You can always reach me on the Wellness Report at 248-805-2000. Once again, that's 248-805-2000. Stay tuned for Attorneys Are Us, and stay tuned for Helen's Heavenly Delight, which I think comes on at 2 o'clock today. So, yes. So thank you so much for watching the Wellness Report with Helen. I'm your host, Helen, and I will look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 12:30 sharp. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Why we trying to live like there's no consequences, consequences. They tell us how to live right, live right. We get all defensive, defensive. That's not the way that life works, life works. Sorry to bust your bubble, bubble. Every day that we don't change just leads to more and more trouble, yeah. I'm not looking for a cop-out, looking for excuses.